Hello, everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss the aggregation because now we are moving slowly towards the intermediate level of this course, where we are now bringing those concepts that have been used in the industry in your day-to-day job a lot. And like I mentioned previously, we have already discussed the joints, the subquery, because these two used on day-to-day basis while we are building reports, while we are building the ETL data pipelines, and even once we are running some random script to extract the data. All these queries we normally construct to retrieve the information. So more you are confident on these concepts, more you're gonna grasp on the core data engineering work item. So try to focus a lot, because once we move towards the programming side of the data engineering, you're gonna see all these concepts gonna really help you, especially once we write the routines, especially the store procedures and function, where we compile all these scripts into one block to build some solution for our customer or for our enterprise, as part of developing the data pipelines or data related items. So these concepts going to play a very vital role. And now we are going to hit one of the major area of SQL, which is the aggregation. Now, by looking at the name, you can see the aggregation means where we aggregate, where we count, where we try to summarize something. We have plenty of information, and we need to generate the stats out of it. That's where the aggregation, summation, and the word comes from, the concept come from, where you have plenty of information and you just need to to summarize it for the business user. And by the way, that will let you enter now in the analytical space, because in the analytics, aggregation plays a very vital role, normally, because we have plenty of data, sometimes our raw data sitting on our files in our data lakes or in our databases, but that data is not making any sense until unless we shape it, right? So that shape that we want to construct, aggregation plays a very vital role into that process. And that's why you're gonna see a lot in our day-to-day analytical work that we are doing to extract the true outcome from our data. We use aggregation a lot, and I have to cover this because later on we're going to actually use aggregation to move one step further to build more powerful outcome from our SQL statement. So I think that's enough theory. And one more thing, by the way, if you want to see the aggregation function and you don't have access to SQL, or you don't have access to Spark yet, you can go to Excel and you can see exactly the similar functionality which has already been built in Excel, because Excel is already a very famous tool for most of the data scientists and people who are working with the data. So they are using these aggregation functions in Excel as well. And some of the famous ones like the average, sum, count, mean, max, standard deviation, variance, correlation, covariance. These are all the functions that has been used to aggregate the data, to shape the data in a way that it can convey a message to the user. So that's a high level introduction to aggregation. Now we're gonna go straight into our dev environment in this Spark, and we're gonna this time start with Spark to see how aggregation work in this Spark. And by the way, we are going to run all these summation on the data which is sitting in the file, and you're gonna see how quickly we can run the statistics out of out of our large data set within Spark. And then in the next video, we'll see the similar thing within the SQL environment. So it will cover on both sides, right? You are covering from the database perspective as well as you are covering from the big data side as well. So which is the true concept of this course. Now let me share my screen and we'll go straight to our dev environment. And like I mentioned, you are already familiar with these table. If you're not, I'm going to put my a link into the description. Please visit those initial videos where I've discussed the join and discussed the schema. So you are familiar with these table. We have 5 table, a quick refresher. We have person, we have employee, we have department history, and then we have shift. So all these 5 tables, they are providing a partial insight of the human resource system which we are implementing for our business user or the departments in our enterprise. Take whatever scenario you want to take. And now let me quickly come down. So we finish our discussion up to full outer join. So we ran the full outer join in last video and we see how all these joins condition work. Now what I'm going to do, and I think we have already discussed aggregation function previously, but I didn't actually mention that word in the previous video because I want to keep it purely with that particular topic which I was discussing into that video. But this time we are going to start our discussion because count means it is going to count the total record, total number of record. So you can already see it starts summarizing the data for us. So for example, I have joined the employee table with person table, and now I want to see how many records I'm getting back. So you can see I'm going to take it because we haven't discussed the subqueries in the Spark context. So what I'll do, I'll take a simple example. So let me quickly go a little bit up. And let me go. Yeah, I think that's a better that's the better cell. So for example, I have the person table and I want to see how many records were sitting in the person table. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run my first aggregation query. We just provide the function name, and then obviously if we pass start, that means it's going to actually calculate based on all the columns in the row, right? We can even calculate calculate based on the column, but in this case I'm just using the star, which is wrapping the full row. Now after looking at the count, we are going to look at the distinct count. And the difference between count and distinct count is pretty smooth. Like distinct always return the unique value, and count ignore the uniqueness, and it returns all the rows in terms of their count, whether the rows are unique or non-unique. So that's the difference. So I've already prepared an example. I'm going to go towards that example and I'm going to show you in here. I think that's the better one. Please ignore the subquery concept. If you don't understand, we're going to see the subquery in next video, and then you can come back and revisit the script. So so let me first run the count on this query. You can see we are getting total count as 19,972. But I want to see, is there any duplicate records in that count? So we can use count distinct, because distinct will only return us the unique record out of the total data set. So if I run it, and the syntax is pretty simple, you need to mention the count, and in the parentheses, instead of putting the star, which refer to all the columns, you just need to prefix with distinct clause. And then once you run it, it will return the unique. So you can see we only have 290 unique records. So out of 19,972, we are only getting 290 unique records. So you can see how many times the distinct clause really help us to identify the uniqueness, or to help us to identify the duplicates into our data set. So these are the two very powerful and highly used function in the aggregation. And then obviously we can go. So right now we are applying the aggregation on the full table. Now, how about if we want to, dissect our summation by column? So for example, let me take a scenario. Let me first show you a table. So we have the employee table. And you can see we have multiple columns, like we have the organization level, we have the job title, we have the birth date, we have the marital status, we have the gender, we have hire date, and then obviously we have vaccination hour, vacation hours, sorry, and sick leave hours, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to count the number of employees by department. So for example, by job title. So for example, I want to provide a report to the for example HR head, that okay, these are the aggregation of the employees by the job title. So what we're gonna do, obviously we are still counting, but this time we are going to count it by the job title. So we are not going to get one single row as a result. We are going to get a set, which is obviously the division of the count by job title. So let me run it. And obviously the column, one thing you have to keep in mind, once you are writing the aggregation query, if the column is not used in the aggregation function. So for example, here job title, we are not applying any aggregation on this column. So what we are going to do, we are going to put that column in the group by clause, because for example, if I just miss this column and I put the group by clause with the column name, and I didn't mention it within my selection area, I'm going to get the error that the column that it is expecting, it's different in the Spark SQL, because in SQL Server, we're going to see the behavior is different, that SQL return the error. So these are the differences between software to software. By the way, in SQL Server, you get the error that if you forget to use the column in the selection clause, it's not going to run, but it is running in the Spark SQL, which is good and which is more powerful, because sometimes we don't need to use the column, but we have to, because SQL Server won't allow us. So that's good that we picked up something new. All right, so now if I run it, we're gonna see the job title, and we are getting the list, but that is not arranged. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to arrange the list by the total number of employees by position, or let me just use job title. And oh, sorry, I didn't mention. I'm just going to use. So obviously, I'm going to sort by the total number of count, and you can see in order to count the total number, I have used the count operation. So I'm going to use the same clause which I've used in my selection in the order by, because that's something which you need to remember. If you want to sort by the column where the aggregation has been applied, you need to use the similar clause in your order by clause, right? And by default, because it is by default ascending, so it's going to bring the minimum on the top and maximum on the bottom, but we want to do it in the other way around. So what we're going to do, we're just going to put the keyword des, which actually indicate that we are sorting in descending order. So now you can see in the production technician, we have 26 employees, and the code is, we have multiple production technician department, and each has their separate code, and you can see they are segregated by those code. Now let's take one step further and let's make it more complex. Now the next request coming from the HR head, that they want to see the dissection or the breakdown by the gender, that how many females are in the department, how many males are in the department. So what we're going to do, obviously we are going to, let me see. So we are just going to add an additional column, and now you will see the dissection or the aggregation is going to be divided by the job title and gender. So let's run it, and you can see within the, so now you can see we have the counts which are coming, but they are not giving you the right information, because the way we want to see, if for example we have the highest number in, for example, WC60, we want to see we want to see more more data in the sorry, we want to see the total by the similar job title, and then obviously by the gender, instead of the count, because now you can see maybe WC40 is coming on the top, and then we have maybe WC20, and then we have male, you can see male are coming on the top, but I want to see in a more meaningful way. Let me put this way, I want to convey a more meaningful message where I can show them, okay, that's the department, and in this department we are getting that many males and that many female. So I'm just going to change the sorting in a bit different way. Let me just do this way and see. Let me just take out for time being. So we are going to first do by job title and then gender. So let's see. So you can see the job title is working. We are getting by the job title. And let me just do it in the reverse order. So you can see we're still getting, now we are getting, I think, in a better shape. Like you can see in the production technician, the W60, we have 6 females and we have 20 males, right? So which is not a very balanced ratio in term of in term of gender equality in the department. But that's how you can see how the things start complicating as soon as we start start moving away, sorry, start moving deeper into the stats which we are generating from their data. And by the way, that data actually convey more meaning to the management level, to the exec level, who just are interested in terms of statistical information, so they can use that information to make the decision, or to make the strategy for the improvements. All right, so then the last one is we can add marital status as well. Because marital status will, now you're gonna see what marital status will do. It will even divide the count further, where it's going to first bring the first it's going to first group by the department or by the job title, so not department, by the job title, and then it will further dissect it or further divide by the gender, And then on top of that, it's going to actually divide it by the marital status. So even further, we now you can see we are entering into a multi-dimensional area where we have multiple dimension. First dimension is the job title, and then we have another dimension of our analysis, which is obviously the gender, and within the gender we have another dimension which is giving us the perspective of looking the ratio between marital status, whatever status we are going to get, because we have multiple status, single, widowed, married, divorced, blah blah blah. So all these status is going to dissect our data in a nice analytical way. So now you can see we are getting all that information in a nice arranged way. And by the way, we can, if we want to see a particular department, we can define it based on the. So that's how we apply the aggregation function on our table. Now what we are going to do, let me just quickly see if I can find some numerical information so we can apply the other functions as well. So we don't have the salary information, that's fine. Okay, what we are going to do now, we are going to calculate the total number of vacation hours by the job title, because that will give us the idea which group of employees are taking more vacation, and obviously that will help HR to pursue everything is all right. Is there any particular thing that they need to do to help them to manage their work-life balance? I'm just creating a scenario. So what I'm going to do, let me. So obviously we are going to do the summation. We are going to summarize the vacation hour. And we are going to total hours. And we are going to do it by job title. So let me run it and we'll see. And like you can see, we have, and let me arrange it again. Ordered by, and because I want to summarize it by the summation, so I'm just going to, and you can see the minimum vacation hour is for the CFO, which makes sense. Is very busy. We'll see who are the top of the list. So product technician, WC 10 group of employees, they have the highest vacation. You know, sometimes hours doesn't make any sense. So what we can do, let's convert it into the number of days. So what we are going to do now, we are going to, and let me just, put it in a separate cell so you can see the. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, these are the total. And if I want to convert into a day, we have 24 hours in one day. So I'm just going to divide it and I'm going to change its total days. And by the way, once you build all this query and you have the dashboard, whether it's going to be SQL Server reports or it's going to be Power BI or Tableau or ClickSense, all you need to actually call these queries and then present this data on the chart tile. And you're going to see the power is actually behind the dashboard within these scripts, which actually generate the data. And the dashboard is capable of showing that summarized information to the user. and they can drill down, based on the multiple dimension or the filter criteria which are available on the dashboard. So now you can see we have, let's round it, and it will also help you understand how we do nesting function. So why I'm actually applying another rounding function, because you can see we are getting a very long numerical value, which is obviously the result of dividing the total number of hours by 24, because it is bringing the fraction. So we just need to round the fraction, and I'm going to round it up to 0 decimal point, because I don't want to keep any digit, although we can keep some digits if we want to. It's a requirement from the business, we can keep, but just for the sake of simplicity, I'm just keeping it simple. And let me update my function in the order by clause as well. So now you can see we have rounded the number of days that that we are getting by the job, and you can see the total number of vacation days are the highest are with the job title WC10, and obviously then we have WC50. So that will really help you. And now the same way what we can do, we can also look at the average. So let me just copy the same statement, and beside the total days, I'm just going to look at the average. And this time I'm just not going to round it up to 0 decimal point. I'm just going to round it up to 2 decimal point. So let me see what are the average days of the employer vacation hours by the job title, and I'm just going to change it by average. Right, so now you can see, and let me run it. You can see 3.79 day in this department, and then we have obviously 2.48 so it's actually calculating the average by considering all the departments. So that's how we produce really powerful summary information through our SQL queries into Spark SQL or into Databricks, which is really a powerful concept. Sometimes it doesn't use in such a simpler way, but it contributes into those scripts that we build to prepare some really powerful dashboard for our business, and the basis exists up to this level. So as soon as you are comfortable with the usage of these basic function, you can handle any kind of scenario where you have to write really complicated summation or aggregation scripts that can produce really nice summarize information for your executive or the board member of your business. So hopefully you like the video and it will provide benefit to you in terms of skills and knowledge. Please feel free to put any comments if you have any question. Otherwise, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.